Hi, I'm Christopher Warnock, and I want to talk today about our new Fountain of Wealth talisman. Wow, I was just absolutely tripping out on these talismans. We haven't had this design for over 5 years. Um, this is a house-based talisman, and of course, for these, every single election is unique. So really, I think people are pretty comfortable with planetary talismans. They kind of get the sense of that. I think the cutting edge right now is sort of fixed stars. People are getting more and more comfortable with fixed stars. House-based talismans, people are like, whoa, what's that? Well, let me just tell you, house-based talismans are really the peak, the perfection, really the epitome of traditional astrological magic. These are the most difficult. These are the highest of high magic. Hardest talismans to elect because you require so many factors. You got to get so many things lined up. But the combination of so many planets and so many houses creates an incredibly powerful talisman. So what we're working with here is we're, instead of using just one planet and the basic, energy of that planet, the basic sort of spiritual powers of that, the occult virtues is how they would have put it in the Middle Ages and Renaissance. What we're doing is we're getting a chart and we're making a talisman that's based on the house rulership. So we're picking out the houses that have the goals and effects and powers that we're looking for, and then we're combining them into a talisman. And so these particular Fountain of Wealth talismans use our favorite wealth and success recipe from Picatrix. This is a 15 factors are laid out. Now, absolutely impossible to get all 15 factors. So what we're doing is just trying to get as many as possible. Your average planetary talisman has about 4 or 5 factors. We, in these Fountain of Wealth talismans, have 10 of the factors that are laid out in Pictrix, plus we have some additional great factors too. So I'm going to talk about those. So basically, and you can check these out immediately. There's a link there on the page. If you're looking at these too much after, say, May of 2023, they may all be gone. But definitely interesting to check it out and think about it anyway. But if you're in luck, there'll still be some left. But take a look at that link, check them out. You can see the chart, you can see what they look like. Really gorgeous talismans. Actually, here they are right here. Wonderful. Here's the image for it. Again, this is a Nigel Jackson image. Absolutely gorgeous. Wonderful for meditation. These are provided with the talisman. You use this during the consecration. Meditate on these. Really helps bring out the power of the talisman. It's interesting, Nigel, when he made his images, he always felt like that he was not, his ego self wasn't creating, that what was happening was he was the sort of vessel for manifestation from the anima mundi. And always have really loved his images, and this one's a particularly amazing one. You can see the angel here with pouring out the coins with this sort of enchanted cup, and then this huge fountain of gold coins with all the wealth and success. So that's what these are for, wealth and success. And let me just talk about essentially what the recipe is and what factors we're using. So in this particular talisman, these were made when Saturn was really strong in Aquarius. He was +8, so sign plus triplicity. He rules the first house, and this is an absolutely key house for any house-based talisman. The first house signifies the user. So you want to have the ruler of the first and the first house unafflicted and have them dignified. That brings strength and power to the user. It protects them. It gives you this really good base for your talisman and allows you to everything built off of that. If you have a weak or afflicted first ruler or first house, the whole talisman basically, it's got a hole in the middle of it. It's not going to be a very effective talisman. Okay, so then Saturn in this for this talisman also rules the second house. Very key house. This is the house of money, profit, income. You got Saturn ruling it. Very strong. That's great for income. +8 is just incredibly powerful. And the other cool thing is when you have the same planet ruling these two houses, it's connecting them. So it's bringing all that wealth and income and profits and everything to the user. So the same planet, strong, connected, excellent start for your talisman. The next house that we're dealing with is the 10th house. 10th house is career, fame, success. This is ruled by Venus in this chart, and Venus is highly dignified, is +5. So term and triplicity, that's +5. It's equivalent to being dignified by sign. Now, what's really cool about this is, again, this is going to give you strong success, fame, reputation, marketing, all this sort of stuff, career success. Uh, but also Venus is sitting right on top of the ascendant. Okay, so that's bringing all that career success, fame, reputation, all that right to you as the user, connecting them once again. So normally you would want to do the connection through the aspect. In fact, that's what it calls for in the recipe. But in placement, where you have the planet from that house, so the house ruler is in another house connecting them, that works really well as well. So that's what we've got here is in placement, excellent connections going on. But it just reminds me of this. But that's not all. What's cool about this election is it's got an additional factor that's I really like, which is that the moon is very strong. Now you want to have the moon dignified, but in this case the moon not only is dignified by sign, so +5, but in the 7th house and ruling the 7th house. Well, the 7th house is a very useful house. It's extremely difficult. If you're going to do 1st, 2nd, and 10th, you can do those if you've got a good election. Very, very difficult to additionally throw in the 7th house. Okay, that's very complex, very hard to do. So we've got it in this chart, and what that does, the 7th house in this context is clients, customers, business partners, contractors, people you're doing business with, things like that. Great to add that in. This is a really fantastic chart for somebody who had an internet business, somebody wanting to get clients and customers and to have a good reputation. This is really pretty much hitting on all possible bases, hitting all possible areas for a business success talisman. Really great. And that's not even all the factors. If you're interested in that, again, take a look at the chart, take a look at the page, and it goes through in detail, and you can see all the incredible stuff in it. Factor after factor after factor added into this chart. So you can see why I get so enthused about house-based talismans. They really do, hit above their weight, punch above their weight. They're packing so many factors and so much power into this. What you're getting is, again, not just one planet, but a complete multiple package of many planets and house rules all working together for you. And like I said, these are really hard to find elections. My students really get frustrated. Probably the most frustrated they get is on the house-based talisman lesson, and for a good reason. Getting so many factors lined up is really rare. It's sort of like hitting the celestial jackpot. So you get the benefit of my 25 years or so of experience watching out for these things. I watch way in advance to see these opportunities, and then we catch them. Sometimes you might have a year go by, we have nothing we can do. This year we were able to jump on it and get a great election. So definitely worth looking into. Like I said, Fountain of Wealth talismans, very beautiful talisman, made in bronze. Really great, like I said, wealth, success, fame. These also, because of the moon, are for growth. Lots of things packed in there. So take a look at these talismans. I think you're going to really love them if you take a look at it. When I got them, sent to me from my jeweler. I was really excited about it, really happy to see them, and glad to have these available on the Renaissance Astrology website as talismans again after a few years. Let me just say something. Renaissance Astrology, I'm not going to blow my own horn here. Renaissance Astrology was the very first to publicly sell astrological talismans. We started 20 years ago, and we only sell astrological talismans. We don't have any other product lines. We didn't just kind of add this in because we're doing other stuff. This is all we sell. This is what we focused on. All of our talismans are created at an elected time, very carefully. You can see the chart. I've noticed that people are dropping the charts. They don't want to show that anymore. They won't even tell you the time and date that they're made. They don't want you to know. They're afraid you're going to go in there and you're going to, you're not like the chart. Now, I have the same thing. People will look at the chart and say, oh, there's some extraneous factor. But I still think it's incredibly important to have that chart and have that time so you can see when they were made or the conditions that they're made under. Renaissance Astrology has the most experience making astrological talismans. And not only that, we have the greatest selection. Nobody has as many astrological talismans as we do because we spend, like I said, I'm looking out right now a year ahead of time, identifying those really perfect times, and then making those talismans in advance, and then making as many as we can. Can't make it very many. It's always a limited edition, and then holding those talismans so that people can get them. So it's funny because you go on the website and you look at all these choices. It's hard to recognize the incredible amount of work that goes into it, that the incredible team that we have to put together, astrologer, design, art, electing the talismans, the jeweler who makes them, consecrates them, getting everything put together is an incredible amount of work. But it's really exciting to have this kind of selection available. And the other thing I do is I try to keep my prices reasonable. I feel like there's a sort of level. At this point, we're not going. We never go over $500, and that's only for the basically talismans as they're running out. We're almost the last few talismans left, or the last one left. We would do them for $500. Otherwise, we keep the prices reasonable so they're affordable for people. We want to have the maximum number of people have access to talismans and be able to work with them. So check it out. Check out the Fountain of Wealth talisman. There's also a link to just our currently available talismans. As you can see, like I said, we have almost 100. I'm very excited about having these available and excited to share my expertise, experience, and all these beautiful talismans with you. So again, if you're interested, if you're serious about getting an astrological talisman from Renaissance Astrology, you can email me, and again, my email address is sent there. Send me your date of birth, and then I'll take a look at it. I'll make astrological talisman suggestions for you. Again, only do this if you're serious. I mean, it takes me a good amount of time. I'm essentially doing a free mini reading for you. So I want to limit that to people that are actually serious about buying it. But if you're saying, hey, this is a talisman, or I want to get one of these talismans, boy, I'd be happy to talk to you and give you suggestions, and give you the benefit of my experience and knowledge. So great. Happy to talk to you about Renaissance Astrology talismans, and especially our new Fountain of Wealth talisman. Thanks.